everyone, I'm Meteorologist Kerrin Jeromin. Thanks as always for checking in here on SnoCountry.com for your weekly SnoCast report. We're digging into the forecast details so you know where to find the best conditions, and this is talking about the second week of April, so we are firmly in spring. It is going to be a typical battle of the seasons. That's what happens in spring. More of the winter-like weather, if you will generally stay across the western United States. That's where a lot of the cold air is, whereas the eastern U.S. will tend to show more signs of spring. Yeah, some warmer weather, even some wet weather to deal with. So before we get into the forecast, let's check out what we already have. Where do we have the snow already? You're looking at the snow depth as of Wednesday, April 5th. So any of the blue and purple colored areas indicate there's snow on the ground, and the purple means there's deep snow on the ground, which notice we have a lot of out west, a lot of those mountains just rolling in it. My goodness. But even the east, I mean, we've got a solid snow depth already on the ground, so that's going to help us out, especially as we head into, again, more of a spring-like feel for this chunk of the forecast, this next few days. That's going to help us out that we already have snow on the ground to hopefully keep the season going for a while longer. Let's first go to the west. We've got a pretty juicy storm system here just lurking off the Pacific Northwest coast. There's your area of low pressure, just kind of hangs along the coastline. So that's going to pump in a ton of moisture here for the end of this week. We're looking at Friday forecast. I want you to notice where the blue is. That's where snow is coming down according to this forecast model. So a lot of the Sierra Nevada region, the Cascades, and eventually kind of trickling inward even farther as we go deeper into the forecast. Like Saturday and Sunday, a lot of that moisture then spreads inward. I think where we're going to have some of the deepest totals here is right here across the Sierra Nevada. They're going to have, a lot of liquid. A lot of juice to work with the storm. So as it plows right in and gets lifted up by those Sierra Nevada huge mountains, we're probably going to be able to squeeze out a good 2 to 3 feet at some of the peaks. Yeah, 2 to 3 feet. There may even be some higher amounts, up around 4 feet across the Sierras here. This is a forecast model. Keep in mind, it just kind of gives you a loose idea. Takes a forecaster, maybe like myself, or someone who's a trained eye, to kind of interpret this model to say, all right, here's how much snow we're actually going to get. Weather Service is a great resource for that as well. But this just kind of gives you an idea. Again, the deepest amounts likely through the Sierra here. Up into the Cascades, we'll pick up several inches of new snow, if not a couple of feet there across the higher peaks. And again, eventually some of that moisture then spreads inward to the interior Rockies as we get over the weekend. So great setup here for the West going into this upcoming weekend. Now let's go east. We've got a kind of different scenario here. A strong storm system, low pressure working its way up western New York as of Thursday night. Unfortunately, that's not a great position to get a lot of snow in New England. Kind of pumps in the warmer side of the storm. So I think we're going to be looking at a lot of liquid with this, at least in the onset, before that system pulls away and eventually kind of pulls in some colder air for the weekend. Where we will keep the cold the longest, though, I should mention, is probably Michigan here on Thursday night and Friday. Some deep snow there expected, all the way up into eastern Canada as well. Some of our Ontario and Quebec ski resorts could be in for some pretty good snow here. Again, for New England, this is going to be kind of a wetter scenario, unfortunately, so if you are planning on heading out in this, just make sure you've got proper gear for that, maybe a little soaking wet for you. But again, we turn colder Saturday, so hoping for a little bit of snow, at least at the tail end of this, for a lot of the New York Adirondacks, the Green Mountains into Vermont, New Hampshire, the Whites, and up into Maine. We'll probably get a little snow on the back end, but notice again with the forecast model, a lot of the snow hanging on the north and west side of that, or colder side of that storm system. So with that, guys, we are getting into spring. Just want to remind you that we have some great resources on SnoCountry.com, so you can go check out your local mountain, maybe your favorite, or wherever you're heading, to make sure that, first of all, what the conditions are, so you can dress properly for it, but also who's open at this point. We've got a lot of mountains that are saying, okay, just weekends, or maybe we won't open today because of wind. We'll see what the scenario is day by day. So make sure you go to SnoCountry.com. We've got some great products there, including the Resort Finder. I really like that myself. You go in and you can pick out by state your nearby mountain and see what's cooking there and make sure they are open and good to go. With that, thank you as always for checking in here on SnoCountry.com for this week's SnoCast. I want to give a special shout out and thanks to our Linden State College students, Christopher, Amanda, and Scott. They are working hard to perfect their forecasting skills as meteorologists to come. So thank you guys for your weekly contributions. Also, Professor Jason Schaefer, appreciate your help. That's all for this week's SnoCast. Thanks for visiting us here on SnoCountry.com.